Hello guys! Welcome back to my channel. So, medyo mahaba-haba yung panahon that I haven't uploaded a video lesson. But I am happy and so excited for our lesson for today. So for today, I'm going to discuss about finance. Okay, so although medyo familiar naman na karamihan sa atin about finance, di ba? So, but let's go back to the basic concepts of finance, even the types of finance. Ayan, so we will review that, and then I hope also na matutunan nyo rin or you would acquire a deeper understanding about the corporate finance. Okay, so we will review finance, so the definition and the different types, tapos yung description ng bawat types ng finance, pero we will focus on the corporate finance. Okay, so yun, so and then we will determine the three important principles that govern the corporate finance, and also we will internalize the role of the capital structure in corporate finance. So, before we begin with this discussion, so if you haven't subscribed yet, so I hope that you would be able to like, subscribe, and share this video to your friends and even to your classmates. So if you have one or you just want to know about finance, so if you have friends na interested din, so yun, so you can share it to them. Alright, so let's start! Let us define first what finance is. Okay, so according to Investopedia, so finance is a term for matters regarding the management, creation, and study of money and investments. So if we will be talking about kaperahan, 'di ba? Paano mo i-manage yung pera mo, pag-aaral tungkol sa pera, and even the creation of money and the investments, di ba? So, gustong-gusto natin yan. So, we are talking about finance. Okay, so that is finance. Now, there are different types of finance. So, I searched only 5, but if you will search on the Google, you can search marami pang mga, there are still many different types of finance. So, I will just discuss these 5. Alright, so the first one is the public finance. Okay, so when we say public finance, so from the term itself, diba, it includes tax systems, government expenditures, so finances are related to the government, budget procedures, stabilization policy, instruments, debt issues, and other government concerns. So that is yun yung cover ng public finance. So, if, for example, you have your subject about public finance, ang pag-uusapan nyo is about taxation, ano yung mga procedures ng government about that, about their finance. Okay? So, yun. So, it is very important to know that each country, ayan, and syempre, iba-iba yan ng government, iba-iba ng pamamalakad, there are different process. There are different procedures when it comes to their public finance. So, it is very important if you were studying about public finance to know anong context ba yung pag-aaralan natin. Pero, meron namang mga basic concepts yan, like, lahat naman may tax, di ba? Lahat naman, yung government nila, they are spending the tax for the expenditures ng, for example, nagpapagawa ng mga kalsada or nation building, di ba? So, yun. So, and supporting yung mga nasa poverty line, ganun. So, those are the basic concepts. Pero, the implementation itself ng mga basic concepts na yun ay iba-iba per country. So, you must understand that. And if you have your instructor na ganun yung ituturo, you must ask him or her, ma'am, ano po bang context nito? Are we going to study about the Philippine public finance or the other countries? Alright? So, yeah. So, next is personal finance. So, in the personal finance, from the term itself, di ba, it's more on personal. It involves all the financial decisions and activities of an individual or household. So, yun. So, it includes budgeting, insurance also. So, insurance, personal insurance, okay? Mortgage planning, savings, and retirement planning. So, if you have a subject or course about a personal finance, so you will be talking about how will you manage your finances personally. okay, your personal finances. So it generally involves analyzing an individual or family's current financial position. So you can also predict short-term and long-term needs through their financial position. For example, magkano yung sinasahod ng isang breadwinner in this family, and then meron ba silang anak or whatever, meron bang bata. Through that, you can learn the short-term and the long-term needs that will occur kahit hindi mo pa kailangan ngayon, pero it will certainly occur in the future. And so you will know that, and then you will execute a plan to fulfill the needs within individual financial constraints. So kung ano yung capacity, or kung hindi man, for example, bata, so syempre medyo magastos yung baby, tapos mag-aaral yan, ganyan. Kung hindi man attainable or hindi kumbaga parang hindi nakakayanin ng sweldo mo in the future if mag-aaral na yung anak, so you can plan what are the things that you will do para masustain yung mga short-term and long-term needs that would occur in the future. So yeah, so that's personal finance. I would love to talk about this also, but if I have enough time, diba, I would love to talk about personal finance because I want to study about it. But if you have your additional resources, diba, you can type it down on the comment section. Alright, next. Okay, the third type of finance is behavioral finance. Okay. So, from the name itself, behavior, diba? So, it seeks to identify the cognitive, example, the emotional, social, and psychological reasons behind financial decisions. So, in behavioral finance, we will study more on the behavior, like what are the reasons why people are purchasing this kind of product at this particular time. So yun, so we behavioral finance, it proposes psychology-based theories to explain financial anomalies such as severe rises or fall in stock price. For example, diba, nung pandemic, how do people responded? How do people respond nung nagbabaan yung mga stocks, ganyan. So, ano yung behavior nila dyan? Natakot ba sila? O mas bumili ba sila? So, yun. So, yun yung cover ng behavioral finance. And ang purpose is to understand and to identify why people make certain financial choices. Bakit ba yung mga tao? I remember I forgot pala, sorry. The term sa microeconomics, we already studied about that. Yung theory of, I forgot the name of the theory, pero yung buying behavior. So yun, so consumer behavior, kung ano yung mga nararanasan nila or yung mga pangyayari that can lead them to either buy or hindi bumili ng particular product or service na yun. So, that is what covers up the behavioral finance. Alright, so I hope you're learning. So, we're down to our fourth type of finance, which is the social finance. So, what is a social finance? So, from the name itself, social. So, it refers to investments made in social enterprises, including charitable organizations, cooperatives, microfinancing, so yun. So, that is social finance. So, ma'am, ano naman po itong social finance na to? Most companies or most people, rather than they are giving an outright donation, so magdo-donate lang sila ng pera nila, they can, pwede nilang ipasok ito in the social finance. Paano yon? They can form an investment, diba? Tapos, that will take the form of equity or debt financing in which the investor seeks both a financial reward and as well as a social gain. So, there are some companies na, if you will see, diba, they are having their charitable institutions, may mga charities sila, ganyan. O kaya naman, they will form a cooperative. So, we're in cooperative naman. So, you have your business na kasi may financial reward yan, di ba? Through the pagpapaikot ng mga pera from the members of the co-op. And then, interest doon sa loan na kukunin sa inyo ng mga members din ng co-op. At the same time, you are helping them. So, yun. So, in the social finance, it deals with those investments, basta sa mga social enterprises. So, some modern forms of social finance, they include some segments of microfinance. So, yun. So, lalo na yung mga nag-offer ng loans to small or medium scale enterprises. So, yung mga small and medium businesses sa mga, lalo na sa Philippines or sa mga third world country or less developed countries to help them. So, yun. So, you are doing your business and at the same time, you are helping other people also. So, that is what social finance is all about. Alright? So, we have 4 already. Ayan, I already discussed the 4 types of finance. So we have public finance. I discussed also the personal finance, behavioral finance, and social finance. Alright, now let's proceed with the corporate finance. So we will focus here in the corporate finance, but I hope ma-discuss ko pa brief or in a detailed level yung 4 na yun, no? Kasi they are sobrang interesting din ng mga topics na yun. But before we proceed in the corporate finance, mag-commercial muna tayo. So, I just want to shout out, ayan, si Jheck Requina. So, he made this crochet earrings. So, I am na-hooked kasi talaga ako sa mga crochet earrings niya. So, last, I think August or September, I ordered kasi I was about to get married. So, sa wedding namin, gusto ko na earrings yung i-regalo sa mga abay ko. So, umorder ako sa kanya. And then, nagulat ako nung dumating sa akin, ay, may freebies. So, thank you so much, Jheck. So, God bless your business. And I hope, ayan, so, if you are interested, ayan, I will provide his link on the description section. So, sobrang considerate. So, sinabi ko na kailangan, kasi medyo gahol na ako nito. Sabi ko, kailangan ko ng ganitong time. Tapos, na-deliver niya pa a week before. So, yan. So, thank you so much. Ayan. And, shout out then to my students. Ayan. So, if you are watching right now, so you can comment, you can write it down on the comment section so I may know it. Alright. So, ayan. So, ang bilis ng commercial natin. So, now, let's proceed to the basic corporate finance. Okay, so ano naman yung corporate finance? So, from the name itself, corporate, diba? Business finance. So, it deals with the capital structure of a corporation. So, we will deal with more on the finances na related into business, especially corporation, including its funding and the actions that management takes to increase the value of the company. So, to increase the financial value of the company, so syempre maraming mga ginagawa or maraming mga decisions na ginagawa yung mga business owner so that they can improve the financial aspect of their company. So, corporate finance also includes the tools and the analysis that were utilized to prioritize and distribute financial resources in the company. And the ultimate purpose of the corporate finance is to maximize the value of a business. So, based nga dun sa mga past videos ko, so, if you are an entrepreneur, you have to make sure that you maximize, you mobilize your capital resources, your money, either you have your land, labor, and everything that your business owns. So yun, so you have to make sure that you are mobilizing it. So how would you make sure that you maximize the value of your business? Through planning and implementation of resources with balancing risk and profitability. So that is what corporate finance is. Now, so these are the basic principles of corporate finance. So we have 3. Some textbooks or some research articles, they call it principles. Some naman, they are call it parang mga types ng corporate finance. So yun, so here in our video, I will, where I got this from Investopedia, I think. So yun, so they are calling it principles. And I think these are really basic corporate finance principles. So the first one, the first principle is investment principle. Or some articles, they are calling it capital investment. So what does this principle mean? So this principle means or what do we apply on this principle? So it covers up the decision of what projects or acquisitions the company will invest in. So if you are already a big company, so for example, you're already successful in your first branch, okay, even if you are doing well, okay, and then there are parang maraming sobrang pera in your company, there would be this idea to expand. Okay, so in your investment principle, so that's an investment. When you expand, you invested, but you have to study about it, research about it, because syempre hindi naman lahat ng acquisitions or hindi naman lahat ng expansion is successful. So, will you be successful if you expanded in this particular area? So, yun. So that is the investment principle. So, here, it says that you will earn the highest possible risk-adjusted return in the investment principle. Okay? So, again, investment principles, if you have lots of money na sobra in your business, so it will cover or it will fall down on the investment principle. Next principle is financing principle or capital finance. Now, what do you mean by capital financing? So here, you will determine how to fund capital investments, or you have to optimize the firm's capital structure. So in the capital financing or the financing principle, you have to know what will consist of your capital. Is it through debt? For example, you're going to expand to another country or another place. So how would you build, for example, Jollibee? So Jollibee will expand to this place, and then how would they build their building, yung mga machines nila doon, pampasweldo sa mga tao? So is it from the pera na ba, owner's equity na ba, or mag-open sila ng stocks again, so may public offering of the stocks, tapos magbebenta sila so that they can get again equity ulit, or mangungutang sila? So yun, so mangungutang ba sila sa bangko or whatever financial institution it is? So yun, so that is the financing principle. So again, the first one is the investment principle. So if you have lots of money in the business, where would you invest that? Second is financing principle. So if you want to expand, so or nakulang ng pera yung company nyo, okay, so where would you get the additional money? Will you get it from the owners ba? Or mag-release ka ba ng stock offering? Or mangungutang ka? So yun, that's the financing principle. And the third one is dividend principle. Okay? Other articles are calling it dividends and return of capital. Okay, so what is that? From the word itself, dividend. So you will decide now how and when to return capital to the investors. So yun. So, for example, kumita na yung company nyo, kailan naman kayo magsusukli or mag-release ng dividends to your investors? So, you have to know about this. Why? So, these are the basic principles of corporate finance, no? If you will look at it, it covers everything in the corporate finance. So, bakit naman kailangan malaman mo or i-determine mo where are you going to release dividends? Because, syempre, for example, I am an investor, aabangan ko yun, di ba? Kasi kaya ko nga pinahiram yung pera ko or nag-invest ako ng pera dyan for me to earn. So, we're done with the basic principles of corporate finance. So, let us review. So, we have investment principle. We also have investment principle, we have financing principle, and we have dividend principle. Now, let's proceed with the capital structure. So, this is just a sort of review, no? So, capital structure is a particular combination of debt and equity used by a company to finance its overall operations and growth. So, in the capital structure, so again, sabi ko nga kanina, if you will decide ano yung magko-consist ng capital mo, you will choose whether it is through debt or through equity. When we say debt, utang. when we say equity, it's either you will release a public offering in stocks, and then after that, magiging owner na rin sila kung ilan yung shares nila for the company. Or yung mga existing na owners ngayon, hingian mo sila ng additional investment from them. So yun, so that is the capital structure. Ibig sabihin, what composes your capital. Now, I will provide a sample capital structure. So, if you will see, and we have assets, and then we have debt and equity. So, when we say, for example, assets are your capital. Okay. Now, what will be the structure of your capital? Okay. So, is it, for example, no, 70% equity, ayan, and 30% debt. Ayan, katulad ng nasa picture. So, ibig sabihin, for example, uutang ka ng 1 million, ang capital mo ay 1 million, so kung 30% ay uutang ka ng 300,000, and then 700,000 will be from the owners. Okay, so as simple as that. So now, in the same way, so dito sa illustration na ito, mas konti yung debt or mas konti yung utang. How about this one? Ayan. So here, for example, the assets or the capital is composed of 70% debt and 30% equity. Ibig sabihin, 70% ay inutang mo, 30% ay equity. Now, ma'am, ano po bang implication niyan? Bakit po ba bakit ba yung ibang businesses, they are choosing the 70% debt and 30% equity, whereas other businesses, they are choosing 30% debt, 70% equity. So, maraming consequences yan. For example, ang equity, so, for example, mas marami yung owner's equity. Ibig sabihin, mas marami kayong owner dun sa business. Ang magiging spending nyo yan is you have to give dividends to those investors. Okay? And up until they sold their stocks or yung share nila to the company, they are still member. Wala silang expiration. Basta hindi nila binebenta yung kanilang stocks. Okay? Yung shares nila. Whereas sa debt naman, of course, one of the spending niyan or ang expenses niyan is the interest. Diba? So, syempre, wala namang bihira naman ay nagpapautang ng walang masyadong interest, no? So, lahat naman ay may interest na. So, you have to compute. Yung interest na yun is for the duration of your utang only. So, kapag nabayaran mo na, wala ka ng, sa kanila, wala ka ng obligasyon or liability sa kanila. So, you have to compute. Masusustain mo ba yung equity, yung dividends for a lifetime ng mga owners mo na pag-i-issuehan mo ng stocks or mag-i-invest sa'yo, or mas makakatipid ka or mas kakayanin ng financial capability ng company mo if sa debt kayo. Babayaran nyo lang yung interest, and then at the same time, they would get the interest lang, tapos after that, after the obligation, wala na. So yun, wala na kayong relationship. So yun, so those are some of the factors that you can consider when it comes to the capital structure. So again, it depends on the company. There are no ideal na dapat mas marami yung utang, mas konti equity, or vice versa. It will still depend on the company. So yun. So now, I have this question. So, how important is company's financial structure in corporate finance? So why do we have to know the capital structure of the company in applying the corporate finance principles? Again, what are those principles? Investment principle, financing principle, and dividend principle. Okay, so if you have your idea, ayan, how important is a company's capital structure in corporate finance, you can type it down in the comment section. So, while you're answering my question, again, my question is, how important is a company's capital structure in corporate finance? Let's have a short commercial. Ayan. So, we just want to thank Accenture, ayan, for bringing us ayan, and in partnership with Reliance United. So, they gave us this box. Ayan. So, na-unbox ko na siya, sorry. Ayan, so they gave us this box, ayan, and with, ayan, in partnership with Reliance United. So, this is their healthcare, I guess. So, they, ayan. So, they have here, sorry, kasi my husband is an Accenture employee. So, we just want to thank them because it is so timely. Because the moment we got vaccinated, so we had the side effects. Tapos, syempre nakakakaba, ganun. Tapos, nagkasakit pa kasi kami prior noon. Prior to our wedding, actually. So, sobrang, sobrang timing nito kasi they gave us, wait. Ayan, they gave us this. Tcharan! Ayan, so, breakdown ko lang mabilis. So they gave us the isopropyl alcohol. So, it's very needed ngayon. Betadine na pang-gargle. So, yun. So, sobrang na-appreciate ko talaga personally kasi hirap na hirap kami nung kasakit kami. So, yun. So, and then, they also have the digital thermometer. Okay. This is what we really needed right now. The pulse oximeter. Tapos nakakatuwa yan, pulse oximeter. And what's great is may libreng battery. So yun, so talagang all-in-one na siya. So you don't have to go outside para mag-work siya. So yun, when we got sick, talagang minomonitor namin yung oxygen level namin. So it's really a must to have this one. Ayan. And also, they have different medicines. Sobrang nakakatuwa kasi they have for ubo, ayan, Solmux baka naman, sure. Ayan. They also have loperamide kasi 'di ba yung COVID is kumbaga isa sa niya is what do you call this? Diarrhea. So I have experienced that also. And then, they also have Biogesic. Grabe, naubos na naman yung Biogesic. Ayan, so konti na lang siya. Biogesic. We also have Nafarine. So, this is really helpful. Nafarine is really helpful because before, I got sipon. Tapos, more on runny nose siya. Ang symptoms ng COVID, ganun siya. Dry siya na sipon. So, yun. So, tapos, the moment, isang beses ko lang siya ininom. Tapos, kinabukasan na wala na. So, hindi ko alam kung gano'n siya. Ang galing lang niya. And also, this one. We have Immune Pro! Grabe, kasi, alam nyo ba, nung nagkasakit ako, naghahanap kami ng Immune Pro. So, yun. Tapos, wala kaming mahanapan, di ba? So, Accenture lang pala yung makakapagpili. So, thank you so much. Ayan, so they also have this. Ayan, yung mga nandito sa loob. Ayan. By the way, we also have face mask. Ayan, ito siya. KN95 face mask. Hindi nga ako bumibili nito pero binigyan lang ko. Ayan, kasi medyo mahal. Thank you. And also, one more thing, kakarating lang nito. Ayan, we have mini UVC sanitizer. So, yun. So, it's really good kasi although hindi ko syempre masusure if kasi hindi ko naman nakikita yung bacteria, no? Pero, you can, magagamit mo siya to sanitize your things. So, laptop, ganyan, tapos gadgets, so yung mga madalas mong hawakan. So, yun. So, thank you so much, Rowadenko. So, that's their project in Japan. So, thank you po for delivering us this. Sobrang kailangan po talaga namin ito ngayon. So, thank you. Now, let's proceed to the final or review or short review and the answer, possible answers to my question, how important is a company's capital structure in corporate finance? So, ayan. So, how important it is? Bakit ba importante na malaman natin yung capital structure when we engage in a corporate finance? So, yung capital structure kasi is crucial to maximize the value of the business. So, if you know how much is your capital, ano yung distribution ng capital mo, is it through debt or is it through equity, yung pwede siyang combination like for example ng long-term and short-term debt, 'di ba? Kung long-term 'yan, so hindi ka pressured to pay agad-agad, masusulit mo yung hiniram mo. Kung short-term naman 'yan, although syempre yung long-term mas mataas yung interest. Kung short-term naman 'yan, you are pressured quite pressured to pay for it, pero mas mababa yung interest. So yun, so kung halimbawa within a year, kailangan mo nang mabayaran tong inutang mo na to, kailangan mo pagplanuhan ngayon, di ba? So dapat kumita ka ng ganitong amount or more than pa dun sa interest ng inutang mo. So yun, so ganun siya. So, and then, it is also a combination of common and preferred equity. So, magkaiba din yon. So, yun. So, the ratio between a firm's liability and its equity, when we say liability, the debts, and the equity, so yung ratio nilang dalawa is often the basis for determining how well balanced or risky the company's capital financing is. So, yun. So, it is very useful in the financing principle. So, yun. So, that is the relevance, okay, of knowing your capital structure in the corporate finance. So we're done with our discussion for today. So today we discussed the finance, the types of finance. So we have personal, behavioral, and social, diba, public finance, and we emphasized the corporate finance. So thank you so much for listening. I hope that you learned a lot in this lesson. And to end this, so please don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this video to your friends and to your classmates. So thank you so much. Bye! See you on my next video.